Hello and welcome back to Total Extreme Morrow, where the best book wrestling. What an episode last week. Banger. I shut up all the Mark podcasters. They were very quiet. The Dumfies of the world, the Shanes O'Keefes of the world. They all shut their mouth fairly quick last week. Why? Because we had a banger show. We have a new heavyweight champion of the world, Ricky Steamboat, 5-star classic against Rick Rude in the final of the tournament. We have Liger back on top of the junior division. Rick Rude hasn't defended this in a very long time, 60 days, in fact, the US title. That will change on today's episode. In fairness to Rude, he was caught up in War Games. He was caught up in the world title tournament. He went all the way to the final. He gets a pass. He's not going to be forced to vacate the title. We've merged the tag titles. Steve Williams, Terry Gordy. They're the World Tag Team Champions. And they will go down in history as the last ever WCW United States Tag Team Champions. And we have Big Scott Hall back on top of the television title, taking the title back from Steven Regal, his second time as champion, second reign with the title. Although we've seen at the Great American Bash, he was attacked straight after the bell by the debuting Shawn Michaels. What a coup to steal. What a coup. We do have some contract news. I have a filter on here. I don't know what the filter is. Don't matter. We have contract news. Where is he? Brad Armstrong is confirmed to be leaving WCW. He was offered a contract, an exclusive contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and they were offering him a lot of money. And I was like, he ain't worth the money, so I'm not going to get into a bidding war over a guy who I don't think is worth the money. I brought in Ace Steel for a tryout match. Yeah. That's where we're at. We've loads of money. We're ranked second in the world. We're catching up a little bit with WWF. We might have a look at where WWF are at after our first show of the evening. Let's just get into the first show, shall we? Do I want to do... Yeah, I'm going to do a couple of pre-show matches. Let's put in Sean Waltman versus Paul Levesque. This guy, I don't think he'll ever amount to much. He's just a jobber. It's good to have a couple of jobbers for pre-show matches. Stick him in there. I did have Sean Waltman win that, didn't I? I did. I'm thinking today's episode, lads, you'll know before I do, because you'll see the time on the bottom. I'm thinking of doing a double episode. Is that... As you can see, I'm thinking of doing a double episode, despite the fact I am totally unprepared. I'm actually very prepared have it all booked out in my head the next few months. There's some mega storylines coming up. Who will we have Ultimo Dragon beat? Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker. Just be a little pre-show jobber. Want to keep Ultimo hot. Is he hot? Is Ultimo Dragon hot? There's Shawn Michaels. Look at him there. Already hot momentum off the back of his debut. Where's Ultimo? The way my screens are set up, I have to look past one screen to get to the corner of that. I'm wearing my Limo t-shirt. OTT Limo. Don't know if you can see that there properly. Man Limo. Seen him in a banger match last weekend. Great performance against an Italian guy. Enjoyed that, so I did. OTT Carlo. Bill Watts, you know what I mean? Out scouting the Irish Indies. Bill Watts is everywhere. Let's get into this show. So we have in a decent pre-show about that decent wrestling there at Grant. Ultimo Dragon over Buddy Lee Parker. Waltman over Levesque. Oh, Levesque is improving. Interesting. I just had Jake Roberts beating Junkyard Dog on the pre-show. That's what I really wanted to get better at his gimmick. El Dandy versus Robert Gibson to open the show. El Dandy just destroys, got Robert Gibson basically in 5 minutes. Both and put on great performances. El Dandy seems to have emerged as the number one contender for Jushin Thunder Liger's light heavyweight title. The Steiner brothers are on a mission. You know, things have been going wrong for the Steiner brothers, and they beat Steve Armstrong and Tracy Smothers, the Young Pistols. Very good TV match. Steiners are performing excellently, but they're on a mission. Things have been going very, very wrong for the Steiners as of late. The tournament didn't go well for them. Well, they won their first round matches, but they were beaten soundly directly after War Games against Terry Gordy and Steve Williams singles matches. And then they were in the 6-man for number one contendership for the world title at the pay-per-view with Sting, and they lost. So yeah, that's unfortunate. But they're trying to get back on track. Gary Hart, Steve Williams and Terry Gordy were watching this match. Gary Hart says, doesn't matter. The Steiners can beat anyone they want. They can beat everyone in the whole division. It was stipulated the last time they lost to Miracle Violence Connection that as long as the Miracle Violence Connection are champions, the Steiners can never get another title shot. He said they've cleaned out the division. They need some contenders to step up. Miracle Violence Connection just want to fight, and they're looking for 2 fighters. Sting beats Mr. Hughes, just getting Sting back on track. He had another loss at the pay-per-view. Sting's kind of been hit and miss, but in terms of performance, although this is a good one. And but his win-loss record now is starting to suffer a little bit. Austin, Bobby Eaton and Larry Zbyszko have arrived. Austin seems to be leading here a breakaway from the Dangerous Alliance faction, or the Paulie Dangerously's Dangerous Alliance. Austin, we had all that drama with him, the Dangerous Alliance, last month. We seen Zbyszko and Eaton attack Dustin Rhodes at the pay-per-view, which led to Austin getting into the 6-man match and winning the 6-man match to become the number one contender for Ricky Steamboat's title. Austin will be getting that title shot at the pay-per-view. But Austin was a real star in this segment. Beautiful Bobby Eaton was very underwhelming. Yeah, but sure, look, this is all about Austin. Austin will be facing Steamboat at the next pay-per-view, which is Beach Blast. And we seem to have a little bit of a breakaway faction from the Dangerous Alliance. We've Shawn Michaels in his debut. Good performance for a debut. That'll get better. It always happens, but he'll get hotter and that'll continue to rise. What kind of bonuses do we get from selling? Momentum, charisma, star quality, and high morale. That's good. Any consists? No, it's good, right? So he has no negative penalties. He beats DDP there. Cactus Jack struggled when going off script. Never got that one before. Cactus Jack have responded to Gary Hart's words from earlier on in the night. Cactus Jack and Terry Funk telling him if they want fighters, there's 2 fighters right here, ready to go for the WCW World Tag Team titles. We'll check back in next week to see what the Miracle Violence Connection have to say about that. Big Scott Hall makes defense number 1 in his second reign. Terrible performance from Scott Hall. These two don't click. I think I remember getting that before, actually. Look, they still had a good match despite the fact their performance weren't good. Probably carried by the crowd heat and the colour commentary and commentary in general. But Scott Hall makes defense number 1 in his second reign as WCW World Television Champion. Now we have the rest of the Dangerous Alliance. Dangerously, Anderson, Rude and Tully Blanchard. They're backstage cutting a promo, talking about Austin, talking about Rude losing the title, saying that there isn't anyone for Rude to face for the US title. Nobody has emerged as a credible challenger for Rick Rude. Rick Rude is going to bide his time and merge the US title with the world title when he beats Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat is in the main event tonight versus one of Steve Austin's friends. He submits beautiful Bobby Eaton in 15 minutes with a chicken wing in an 84 rated match. Excellent match. Really leaning heavy on longer wrestling matches on the show. We have 10,237 in the Milwaukee Auditorium. Non-title match here, but Steamboat says he's going to be wrestling on as many shows as he possibly can. I hope that doesn't lead to injury. We've already been there. So yeah, we're starting to set up things. We have 4 weeks to Beach Blast. We already have our main event locked in, Steamboat and Austin. Although Rick Rude is saying certain things there, we might be moving towards a world title tag match with Miracle Violence Connection versus Jack and Funk. And we'll see what else emerges over the intervening weeks. Okay, we're actually back a little bit earlier than expected. We're not back for the show. We're back for the mid-year awards. One of my favourite things in the game is the end-of-year awards. So let's find out who the male wrestler of the year is so far. It's Ric Flair. Fuck's sake. Alright, company of the year so far. Yeah, baby, WCW, Booker Bill Watts. Female tag team of the year, we don't have one, but it is Etsuko Mita and Mima Shimoda. Well done. Tag team of the year, it has to be. Sure, of course it is. They're the best tag team in the history of space and time. Steve Williams and Terry Gordy, the Miracle Violence Connection. Match of the year so far, it has to be Steamboat and Rude. Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 8. The match that never was. Fuck's sake. Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan. Show of the year so far. Hey, it's the Great American Bash. Yes, as it should be. Female young wrestler won't be one of ours. It is Akira Hakuto. Yes, I'm not surprised. Male young wrestler of the year is Dustin Rhodes. I've been giving out about his form. Okay, Dustin. Well, Dustin's on the shelf now. We know he got beaten up at the pay-per-view. Female veteran is, who's this? La Marquisa. Male veteran wrestler is, it's not Mil Mascaras. It is Mil Mascaras. Come on, Mil. Female wrestler of the year so far is, look, who else was it going to be? Oh no, it's Mima Shimoda. Could have been loads of people. Female independent wrestler of the year is Zochi Hamada. It's not the Hamada I know. Male independent wrestler of the year. Let's see who this is. We might have to sign them. No. Who's it been? Brazo de Oro. Brazo de Oro. Well done, Brazo. There's usually more awards. But yeah, that's where we're at. Okay. Just a few more updates. Brad Armstrong is gone. He's gone. Bill Alfonso is gone. Jim Boss is gone. Nikita Koloff is gone. These are all gone to contract expiry. Clash of the Champions 19 has been made dormant. Is that the one I moved the date of? Let's go in here. Yep. I moved the date of it. I never changed. Is it this one? Is that 19? It is 19. So let's reinstate that. We moved it to August. Just make it active. Third Tuesday of the month. What date did we move to? 18th of August. What's that? Okay, that'll do. Is that right now? Beach Blast 1920. Yes, that's right. Another thing we're going to do, and this is really bad. Now that his brother is gone, I feel like we can do this. Shawn Michaels, yeah. So there's been backstage strife between Shawn Michaels, my new signing, and Steve Armstrong. So I'm getting rid of Steve Armstrong. I've just Colt Cabana Steve Armstrong. Sorry, Steve. Sorry. Time for TV. I fired Steve to keep Shawn Michaels happy. He's only here a week. It started already. Something very interesting just happened. It's the second time it's happened. I didn't bring it up the first time, and I've used it already. That's why I had Steve Austin beat Sting twice, because Sting actually came to me and offered to put over Steve Austin twice. And that's why Steve Austin beat Sting twice. And it has made Steve Austin obviously a huge star in the company. We can see that by his performances. If we look at White Hot Momentum, Egomaniac gimmick is great. Popularity, like, let's just track that progress. Look, this is around where he beat Sting twice. So, you know, it has made him a superstar. He's one of the most popular guys in the company now. Like, let's, for example, have a look at our World Heavyweight Champion. He's not far off him. Let's have a look at Rick Rude. He's very close to him. Let's have a look at somebody like, who would we consider kind of upper mid-card? What's Vader? He's more popular now. Vader's has probably dropped with injury. No, Vader's had stayed the same since he's injured. So Austin is more popular now than Vader was when he got injured. For context, like, let's see Big Scott Hall, someone we've kind of pushed a lot. You know, he's improved greatly, but he's nowhere near Austin. What's Dandy out of interest? Cool. What's Who? What's like Steiner at? Young, low 60s Funk, 60s Terry Gordy. Like Gordy's not as popular as Austin. Steve Williams. Steve Williams isn't as popular as Austin. He is in Japan, but we're not in Japan. So promises. Ricky Steamboat has come to me and offered to put over Steve Austin in one match anytime before 24th of August. And as you know, I have them booked for mid-July. That gives me a decision to make in the world title match. Do I want to have Steamboat lose it in his first match? He's offering to put over Austin. Offering to put him over. So, gives us a decision to make. Anyway, into the show. Ron Simmons beats Tracy Smothers in a fucking excellent pre-show match. I'm just going to kind of repackage Tracy Smothers in the absence now of Steve Armstrong. The Dangerous Alliance beat a new tag team we've signed, a couple of young baby faces by the name of Chris Jericho and Lance Storm. Larry Zbyszko pins Chris Jericho with a pile driver. These guys are the Thrill Seekers. Couple of good performances for guys who are young. The Lance Storm's old school face gimmick's got a rating of very good. Jericho's Lionheart gimmick is poor. We're going to give him time to try and work on that. A couple of very good performances. Bobby Eaton's performances have improved. Larry Zbyszko's staying solid as always. That's on the pre-show. We've 11,000 in the Mississippi Coast Coliseums, kind of somewhere we run once a month. We do good ticket sales there. An excellent 9-minute promo opening the show. Steve Austin on his own in the ring with a fucking 100 rating. This is where the decision is coming from. He's after getting way better than what I expected. I didn't think by any stage of 92 Steve Austin will be having 96 rated matches. I know that's with Steamboat. And 100 rated segment. Larry Zbyszko's managing him now. They've got pretty good chemistry. Not amazing. I think he has amazing chemistry with Paul E. But yeah, that's good. Wow, look at this. Like, this guy is just... Who are we kidding? It's Steve Austin. Steve Austin cuts a promo on Ricky Steamboat, says he knows the mistake he made the last time. He won't make the same mistakes again. He is saying also, this is where it gets interesting, that he turned his back on the Dangerous Alliance in the build-up to his previous match, but this time he'll have Zbyszko and beautiful Bobby Eaton in his corner, and he is going to take the World Heavyweight title from Steamboat at Beach Blast. Buy your fucking tickets, he's saying. I think we're going to go to California for Beach Blast. That's kind of a Beach Blast vibe, doesn't it? I know we're not super popular there, but we're going to do it anyway. He's also takes some shots at Paulie Dangerously. Rick Rude takes shots at Aaron Anderson, Tully Blanchard, further heightening the perceived split in the Dangerous Alliance. The show opens as well, not open. It would open with the promo, but the first match of the night, Terry Gordy beats Terry Funk with the backdrop driver. Excellent match. Funker still putting in these performances at his age is insane, because I think he's got loads of penalties. Stamina, physical condition, inconsistency. Terry Funk, fuck off, game. Okay, well, look, that's not a great way to get started setting up the world tag title match. One of the challengers losing to one of the champions. We get a very interesting backstage segment. We don't really overhear fully what's been said, but we become aware of a conversation, a hushed tones conversation happening between Harley Race and Jake Roberts. Rick Rude beats Todd Champion in 3 minutes with a rude awakening. 93. Like, Todd Champion with 38, he gets a match right in 70. Todd Champion must be delighted to get 3 minutes in the ring with Rick Rude. You know, Rick said last week there's no one around for him to defend the US title. He is going to face whoever until somebody proves to him that they are worthy of a title shot against him. And after the match, he just beats the ever-loving shit out of Todd Champion for daring to step in the ring with the Ravishing One. And then we get an interview backstage with Ricky Steamboat, been interviewed by Eric Bischoff, and he has laid down a challenge for next week to Steve Austin, Larry Zbyszko, and beautiful Bobby Eaton, a 6-man tag match. If Steamboat's team win, Austin can have nobody at ringside. He said the same conditions as their last match. He's the champion. He's calling the shot. If Austin's team win, Beautiful Bobby and Larry Zbyszko can be at ringside. But if Steamboat's team win, then Eaton and Zbyszko are barred from ringside. We get Shawn Michaels just beating Jumping Joey Maggs. Very good match. Shawn 77, wasn't he on 68 last week? I knew he'd get better. I think 68. He must have. Has he got great momentum yet? Good momentum. Was that there last week? I can't remember. Yeah, well done, Shawn Michaels. Sweet chin music. We cut backstage. Big Scott Hall being interviewed, or is he cutting a promo? I can't remember. He's cutting a promo. He's cutting a promo backstage. He says Shawn Michaels arrived here. He attacked him at the pay-per-view. Big Scott Hall hasn't forgot that. But Shawn Michaels is going to need to pick up more wins if he's going to want to come and challenge for Big Scott Hall's World Television title. Here we go. 6-man tag. 86. El Dandy pins Sean Waltman with the Dandy roll. I said to the lads, go out there and steal the show, boys. You're all awesome. And El Dandy and Jushin Liger, they're going to face each other one-on-one at the pay-per-view with the light heavyweight title on the line. The greatest junior of all time, Jushin Thunder Liger versus El Dandy. It's going to be booked for Beach Blast in California. Now, the interesting thing about that is large Mexican population. Will it feel like El Dandy might be the face in California against Liger? He might be. If there's enough of a Mexican contingent buying tickets, El Dandy could end up being the face. Could be one of those weird situations. We're living in bizarro world. And then Luger was poor. Yeah, fucking course he was. He's crap. 4-minute interview backstage. Bischoff asks Harley Race about what the conversation was with Jake Roberts earlier on. Harley Race alludes to the fact he might have a new client joining his stable, and Lex Luger says he's not overly pleased with that, but he trusts Harley Race. We're into our main event of the night, and this should be a cracker. I have high hopes for this one. I'm expecting 84 and 90. Cactus Jack defeats Steve Williams by pinfall in just under 16 minutes. These two tore the fucking house down. Times there was definite lack of psychology on display. See, this, I think like there's a mix up with like psychology. Do you think Cactus Jack and Steve Williams don't have psychology? It's not a Bret Hart style psychology. It's not a CM Punk style psychology where they're telling like this like super obvious story, and I know that's probably unfair on Punk and Bret and that, but Cactus Jack had a really underrated, Mick Foley in general had a really underrated psychology. He was like, name a better wrestler that was as good as him at generating babyface sympathy. Like there's very few. That's why he was so good at putting over people like The Rock. You know, he made The Rock at that Royal Rumble. He made Triple H in that, I think it was a different Royal Rumble. He made Randy Orton, he made Edge. All those guys were heels at the time. Because he is one of the best ever at generating babyface sympathy. And then after the match, we got a massive brawl. Then Cactus Jack, Terry Funk, Steve Williams and Terry Gordy, they're beating the shit out of each other as the show goes off the air. That's our tag title match booked. Terry Funk, one of the greatest tag wrestlers of all time, underrated in that department. Him and Dory, you can go back on YouTube, watch the channel Classic Puro 83 on YouTube. Watch a load of Terry and Dory Funk matches from Japan in the 80s, even into the 70s. There's some on it. But yeah, one of the great tag wrestlers of all time with a guy who matches his freak. You know, they are soulmates. They were a tag team later in WWF in 98. 97 and 98. But yeah, we're uniting these two because they just match each other's freak. And this is going to be an exceptional tag team match, I think, as well. That finished the show in 92. Way better than last week's. Look, I took a little break there for a while after booking last week's show. So I wasn't happy with it. I just thought my energy was down. The show on screen reflected that. It was shit. And I just got back to brass tacks. Let's start booking some good fucking stories. I think we got a good story now with Austin and Steamboat and how the direction that's moving in. I was always happy with that one. Wasn't super happy with what was happening further down the card. I felt like I peaked a little bit with the tournament. That's natural. But I think we're back on track. You know, we got this Dandy versus Liger story cooking. Look, that's going to be built up through wrestling matches mostly. It's a Japanese guy and a Mexican guy in an American company. Can't expect them to be cutting promos and all this stuff, but they will tell great stories in the ring. Now we've got what seems to be cooking with gasoline. Cactus Jack and Terry Funk and the Terry Gordy, Steve Williams, Miracle of Violence connection, the greatest tag team in the history of space and time story. That has kicked into gear. Something's happening with Rick Rude. He's telling a story. We don't know where it's going yet, but he's telling a story. Shawn Michaels and Scott Hall are telling a story. We have something going on there with Luger and Harley Race and Jake the Snake Roberts. So there is things happening now. I felt the last week's show was just a bit stagnant, particularly when we only have 4 weeks to build to the pay-per-view. We want our shows to peak there. And how popular are we in the Southwest? 79. We'll get a good crowd there. It's a big population base. Hopefully El Dandy will sell tickets. The guy's a legend. We are back for WCW television on a Saturday night. Well, it's on a Wednesday night, but it airs on a Saturday night. It's taped late, all right? This is before the internet. The spoilers aren't getting out. I went for a walk to try and get my creative juices going, and by God, did I get my creative juices going. Hell of a show coming up. It's going to be a double episode. I'm going to record all night. I just know it. Went for a walk. Creative juices flowing. You're about to see some of the results of said creative juices. Paul Levesque is very unhappy with the booking of the segment Lance Storm versus Paul Levesque. Let's go. Sean Waltman, I brought in the Veho Warrior for one night. Just have him lose on the under pre-show to Sean Waltman. Same with Aaron O'Grady. He's off his game. He's rubbish. Just give Ultimo Dragon a match. Although Dragon keeps complaining that he's tired because he's working a heavy schedule. Alright, Ultimo. Lance Storm beats Paul Levesque. Chris Jericho beats my son. And my son is so crap. My son. Okay, we're into the main show. Steiner Brothers bash the Thrill Seekers, Chris Jericho and Lance Storm. This match is an 82. An 82. Like, for context there, Storm had 54, Jericho had 48. The Steiners carried this to an exceptional 10-minute television match. Then we get just cuts backstage. Cactus Jack, Steve Williams, Terry Funk and Terry Gordy, who were brawling at the end of the show last week, have brawled all the way to the Lawler Events Center in California, and they're still fighting each other. I think we were in Mississippi last week. They've brawled all the way. They're backstage brawling. Everyone's trying to break them up. These guys are just going to have to kick them out of the building and just tell them, come back next week when you're calm, lads, right? Relax. El Dandy has beaten Dean Malenko with the Dandina in another exceptional match. It's mad that this only gets 1 point more than the Thrill Seekers versus Steiners match at the start of the show, considering both performances here in the 80s. That's an exceptional match. After this, we get an announcement. Gordon Soley comes to the ring, making an announcement. He has announced, this is massive, he has announced the International Cruiserweight Grand Prix following the El Dandy Jushin Liger title match at the pay-per-view. Beach Blast. El Dandy and Jushin Liger will face for the title at the pay-per-view. Following the pay-per-view, we have the International Cruiserweight Grand Prix, which will be taking place over the course of 4 weeks, featuring the best and brightest cruiserweight talent from the 3 premier regions of professional wrestling, that being the US and Canada, captained by Dean Malenko, that being Team Luchador / Mexico, captained by El Dandy, and that being Team Japan, captained by Jushin Liger. There'll be 3 teams, 4 representatives from each team. The format of said tournament will be revealed on WCW television next week. the International Cruiserweight Grand Prix 1992 is coming to WCW. Backstage promo, Ricky Steamboat has a gimmick that's getting sold. That's great. We just made him our fucking champion. Steamboat has gone to the Steiners and asked them would they be his teammates tonight against Steve Austin's Dangerous Alliance. The Steiners have rejected him. They said the last time they got involved in other people's business, it cost them a shot at the world title. They're already out of the tag title picture. These guys are at a loose end, and they won't be helping Ricky Steamboat tonight. To tell him to hit the bricks, Jack. Promo from Harley Race. Basically, and Jake Roberts. Basically just advancing that storyline of Jake becoming a client of Harley Race and Lex Luger's slight displeasure with it. But Luger agrees that if Harley Race thinks it's the right thing, he is on board. So we're getting, I suppose, the birth of a mini faction here with Harley Race, Jake Roberts, and Lex Luger. Another backstage segment, a lot of backstage segments on this show, where the actual Dangerous Alliance of Paulie Dangerously, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, cross paths with Steve Austin, Larry Zbyszko, and beautiful Bobby Eaton. Dangerously extends the olive branch to Steve Austin, tells him that you're not gone from the Dangerous Alliance. You're still one of us. You're still my client. We are willing to help in the main event tonight. Austin tells him, no, get out my face, Paul. That they're going it alone. This is a faction in utter disarray. Steve Austin, Zbyszko, and beautiful Bobby Eaton have turned down the help of Arn, Tully, Paulie Dangerously in the main event tonight. Rick Rude, and continuing his gimmick of beating the shit out of jobbers, beats the Italian Stallion and then brutally beats him again after the match. Rick Rude, there's nobody to face this guy for the US title. In Rick Rude's opinion, nobody is man enough or good enough to waste his time. We get Shawn Michaels beating Buddy Landell. Buddy's good. Picked him up off the indie scene just to kind of flesh out our lower mid-card babyface side of the roster. Putting in decent performances for a guy who's new to the company. You know, we always see these guys starting off kind of low, high 50s, in some cases in the 40s. Shawn Michaels getting really up there now in his performances. He's getting hotter as the weeks go by. He has beaten... He's still probably lacking a bit of a connection with the fans. He's new here, but Buddy Landell essentially has no connection with the fans, so that could have a part to play in it as well. And then Scott Hall storms the ring after the match, stares down with Shawn Michaels and says, Shawn, I want to get my hands on you. We're going 1-on-1 at Beach Blast for the World Television title. We get the main event in a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Ricky Steamboat, and it's Ron Simmons and DDP who are his mystery partners, defeat the Dangerous Alliance of Austin, Zbyszko, and beautiful Bobby Eaton. Steamboat pins Zbyszko with a diving crossbody. In terms of in-ring work, Steamboat was head and shoulders above everyone else. So that's Zbyszko and Bobby Eaton banned from ringside at Beach Blast. Austin will have to go it alone once again against Ricky Steamboat. You'd be going it alone. Sorry, Steve. You're going it alone. So yeah, very good show. Probably not as good as last week. Well, we're not really a heavy segment company, but we did do a lot of segments tonight. We still kind of kept to our 5-6 matches trend though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think normally we have about 6. But yeah, we just packed in some more promos, a few more angles, setting things up, getting things taken over nicely. Come back next week. Well, not actually next week. It's like this is just going to flash in the blink of an eye through the power of editing, and we'll be at the next TV show where I will reveal the format. Not the full teams, the format for the International Cruiserweight Grand Prix. It is the go-home show for Beach Blast. Where's my sunglass? There's the shades. I'm actually in the zone now. There's a haze of vape, what would you call it, smoke in the air, because I've just been in here cooking. I'm cooking. I have the notepad is out. So many ideas. I've got so many ideas. Let's just get on with it. Jerry Lynn beats Buddy Landell in a very good pre-show match. I want to use Jerry Lynn in the good chemistry. Well done, lads. In the International Cruiserweight Grand Prix. Where are we tonight? We're around Texas somewhere, actually. 12,000. Trying to just get a bit of heat on him. A lot of the Cruiserweight Grand Prix is going to take place on Power Hour. It's one of my ways of increasing the importance of Power Hour. Not a lot. Like, what I'm looking at is kind of 3 matches a week on Power Hour, 2 on World Championship Wrestling. We'll check in with all of them. It's going to be something like 20-something matches over the course of a month. And I've signed some exceptionally exciting talent on kind of mid-term deals, like 6-month deals. So I'm bringing them in for this, but I'm going to keep them around for a little bit afterwards. And the junior division is going to be outrageously stacked. Anyway, El Dandy beats El Latino. He's testing out Latino talent for his team Mexico, Team Luchador, really. This is all about philosophies. Lord Stephen Regal beats Johnny B. Bad pre-show match. Thrill Seekers beat Booker T. Oh yeah, he's not one of mine. I brought in Booker T and Stevie Ray just as another tryout. They've improved immensely since I brought them in for a tryout at the start of the year. Looking at signing them, but I'm not going to sign an injured Booker T. Thank you, Dusty. Big Scott Hall opens the show, beating Michael Hayes. Defense number 3 of the WCW World Television title. He made a couple of defenses on Power Hour. Poor performances all around. They don't click with each other. Bollocks. Then we get a backstage segment where Paulie Dangerously and Steve Austin are essentially kind of cutting promos on each other in the back. Paulie Dangerously is telling Steve, it's never too late. It's never too late. And Steve says, main event tonight, Steve Austin, Larry Zbyszko, send your 2 best, Paul, out to the ring. Steve Austin is on a mission to prove himself without the Dangerous Alliance, but he still is. He's a bit of a hypocrite. He's kind of relying on Zbyszko and Beautiful Bobby, both of whom are banned from ringside for the main event of Beach Blast. But yeah, Zbyszko's acting as Steve Austin's manager in Paulie Dangerously's absence as manager. But Paulie Dangerously is trying to show Austin that there is a way back. We get just a backstage interview with Eric Bischoff. Interviews DDP and Ron Simmons after their success in helping Steamboat last week as a unit. They've laid down the challenge to another new unit, Jake Roberts and Lex Luger, for Beach Blast. So it looks like we get a tag team match at Beach Blast. Shawn Michaels beats Lance Storm. Lance Storm was really off his game. Technically, this is the 3rd time tonight Lance Storm has wrestled, so maybe that's why. He wrestled on the undercard of the B show, and he wrestled on the pre-show of this. And he's wrestling again now, so we'll give him a little bit of a break on that one. Yeah, it's just kind of, it's his 3rd match of the night. I'm trying to kind of speed run experience for him and Jericho. Team Malenko is poor when it comes to improvising dialogue. I probably should have scripted him, but anyway, an awful 3-minute angle. Sorry, Dean. Malenko and Waltman, who Malenko, as we know, is captain of Team United States and Canada, have approached Eddie Guerrero to join Team United States and Canada. Eddie Guerrero hasn't given him his answer. He says he will check back in with him before the start of said tournament. Then we get a 6-man. Liger, the Great Sasuke, and Ultimo Dragon beat Terry Taylor, Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert. Very, very good match. Tommy Rich was the weak link. Oh, where was Tommy Rich there? 47. Okay, I don't care. 65. Even Sasuke's at 63, and I believe Sasuke will be penalised for experience because it's under 20. Did he? No, it must be over 20. Okay, that's good. But yeah, so the Sasuke is there. And then afterwards, we get Gordon Sully's announcement of the format of the International Cruiserweight Grand Prix. Liger has introduced the first three of his team members, Team Japan, which is Liger, Sasuke, and Ultimo Dragon. He said he will reveal another member before the start of the tournament in 1 week's time. He will make that announcement after he beats El Dandy at the pay-per-view for the Junior Heavyweight WCW World Championship. Soli goes on to announce the format. There will be 3 groups of 4. 3 teams of 4 initially. Obviously, those teams are the Luchador team from Mexico, or Mexican heritage. The Team US and basically North America, excluding Mexico, and Team Japan. There'll be 3 groups of 4. The winner of each group, so there'll be 3 round robin groups of 4. The winner of each group will go into a 3-way elimination match at the next pay-per-view, which I've changed the name from Night of Champions to WCW International Supercard. The international element is really coming mainly from this tournament. So the winner of each group will face off for a cup. You will win a cup. You will win the International Cruiserweight Grand Prix Cup if you win this tournament. And Liger takes the mic back and says his team will show the philosophy of Japanese cruiserweights. They are the most cutting edge, the most innovative, and they will show the world that their style of wrestling is superior. We get Steiner Brothers squashing Van Hammer and Z-Man. Looked like they had mad ratings here. But Z-Man and Van Hammer's ratings weren't a million mile. Like, they were very close to what the Thrill Seekers had last week, but the match was nowhere near as good. It's just a weird one. Then we get contract signing. Cactus Jack and Terry Funk signing the contract for Steve Williams and Terry Gordy. The first section is the contract signing. The second section then is Williams and Gordy attack Funk and Cactus Jack, and they use their high backdrop drivers through the tables. They've smashed up Cactus Jack and Terry Funk. They've weakened them before the match. But Cactus Jack and Terry Funk lie in the broken wreckage of the tables, laughing. Steve Williams and Terry Gordy are infinitely confused at how these two maniacs can be laughing after such carnage. Rick Rude beats the living shit out of Firebreaker Chip. Rick Rude after the match. Holy shit! He goes to beat down Firebreaker's Chip, but it's Sting! Sting. It's Sting. Sting is here. He saves Firebreaker Chip. He tells Rick Rude it's Sting versus Rude 1v1 for the United States Heavyweight Championship at Beach Blast. If you thought Surfer Sting was going to miss Beach Blast, you got another thing coming, Rick. And we get an interview backstage. Steamboat is always so shit at these interviews. Look, it's okay. Where he is interviewed by Eric Bischoff about his title match against Austin at Beach Blast. He says he doesn't trust Austin. He doesn't trust Paulie dangerously. He knows Zbyszko and Beautiful Bobby Eaton are barred from ringside, but he's prepared for all eventualities. Time for the main event. And we get Steve Austin and Larry Zbyszko, the Dangerous Alliance, versus Anderson and Tully, the Dangerous Alliance. And Steve Austin pins Tully Blanchard with a stun gun. Fairly good match. Not an exceptional or anything like that, but a fairly good match. And Austin wins, and that takes us off the air. We are going to Beach Blast. Surfer Sting is back. Huge title match with huge implications between Austin and Steamboat. Let's finish that show. White Selection. Yeah, good show overall. Not exceptional or anything. Like, to go home show, the wrestling wasn't great. The Booker T, chronic shoulder pain. Okay, back to the Indies there for you, Booker. Back to the Indies. Of all the regions to increase in, it was Puerto Rico. Must have loved that show. Okay, see you at the pay-per-view. It's time for Beach Break. Hell of a card. Austin Steamboat. Tag titles on the line with Jack and Funk versus MVC. Scott Hall versus Shawn Michaels. Rick Rude versus Sting. Dandy versus Liger. all title matches, and Jake Roberts and Luger versus Simmons and DDP. That's just the main card. Let's get into the undercard. So we have Steven Regal, Shane Douglas, and Zbyszko and Eaton defeat Gibson, Martin, Jump Joey Maggs, and Buddy Landell. It is Lord Steven Regal who submits actually Buddy Landell with the Regal stretch. Decent little pre-show match for the 19,596 people in attendance in the Oracle Arena in Oakland, California. I don't know if Oakland's by the beach. We predicted about 20,000 people, and that was the only one I could find in California. But I'd say Oakland is near enough the beach for Beach Blast, wouldn't you? The Thrill Seekers beat the Patriots. Grand. Dean Malenko, Jerry Lynn, and Sean Waltman, 3/4 of Team USA/Canada, beat Great Sasuke, Funaki, and Ultimo Dragon. Funaki, what a legend. Funaki gets kind of tainted a lot with his WWE run, even though he was awesome. Ask Dunphy. Dunphy loved him. But he did some mad shit in the early to mid-90s when he was a young lad, kicking people in the face. He had 59. It's his first match, no surprise. Sasuke's up 67. Dragon's at 68. Malenko's excellent. Jerry Lynn and Sean Waltman both hovering around the high 60s. So these are teams starting to take shape. Team USA waiting on the word of Eddie Guerrero as their last team member. That's the quartet now is complete for Japan. It's Liger, Sasuke, Funaki, and Dragon. Into the main show. And Jake Roberts pins Diamond Dallas Page, DDP, with a DDT. Excellent opening match. Page lagging a little bit behind the rest. But he is improving in fairness to him. And then we get El Dandy defeats Liger with a dandy roll following interference from Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero has interfered and cost Liger the match, and 91. Sensational. And after the match, the Lucha team, Team Mexico, is revealed as team captain and new junior heavyweight champion El Dandy, with Eddie Guerrero, with Jerry Estrada, and with Negro Casas. What a team that is. These guys were all unbelievable in this time period. Team Mexico looking bloody excellent. And Eddie Guerrero has made his allegiances known. American born, Mexican heritage. He has sided with Team Mexico. That's going to leave Team USA scrambling for a late replacement. I think they thought they had Eddie in the bag there. And Sting beats Rick Rude with a Scorpion Deadlock for the United States Heavyweight title in a 96. We've had two 90s on this card. Two 90s. Rick Rude kind of carried the match. This is essentially another 5-star classic. Rick Rude has lost the United States title. He's had this title for months, for 7-8 months at this stage, and Sting is the new WCW US Heavyweight Champion. And Shawn Michaels has defeated Big Scott Hall by pinfall following interference from Big Sexy Kevin Nash. He's been gone for ages, formerly known as Vinny Vegas. He has reappeared as Big Sexy Kevin Nash. What's this? Oh, yeah, it's his gimmick change. So we're changing Big Sexy's gimmick away from his new gimmick's called Petrol. Yeah, grand. He's going to be the enforcer. Yeah, it's just his gimmick change away from Vinny Vegas. I thought it would happen in the segment. But the enforcer, Big Sexy Kevin Nash, and Shawn Michaels beat down Scott Hall after Shawn Michaels has taken Scott Hall's TV title. And then we get another title change. Is that 4 title changes in a row? It's 4 title changes in a row. This show is off the charts. Another banger match. Cactus Jack and Terry Funk beat the Miracle Violence Connection. Cactus Jack pinned Steve Williams for the second time in a month. This match was again off the charts. Terry Funk and Cactus Jack are the new WCW World Tag Team Champions. They've beaten the greatest tag team in the history of space and time. And this is their first loss in God only knows how long. If you remember, they never dropped the All Japan tag titles. They won the 2 previous tournaments. They've undefeated as a tag team here in WCW. These guys are undefeated for an outrageous period of time. And Cactus Jack and Terry Funk are the ones to take the titles off them. And the Steiners show up. This unlocks the Steiners. The Steiners are now no longer beholden to the stipulation by which once they got their rematch against MVC and lost, it was set that they couldn't challenge for the tag team titles again, while Miracle Violence Connection were the tag team champions. They crashed the celebrations and they request a tag title match against Cactus Jack and Terry Funk. They say they've been on a tear, beating the shit out of teams recently, and we'll get the response, I suppose, on television. We get a backstage segment from the Dangerous Alliance. Paulie Dangerously is losing his mind. Rick Rude is losing his mind. Paulie Dangerously is calling out the Dangerous Alliance, saying everything has fallen apart since the loss at War Games. Rick Rude is no longer the US title holder. Tully and Aaron lost to Cactus Jack and Terry Funk at the pay-per-view last month. You losers didn't even get a match at the pay-per-view this month. It's time to get the Dangerous Alliance back on track. And this shit ain't gonna cut it no more, Paulie says. We're into the main event. Holy shit, it's a 5-star match. Back-to-back months for Ricky Steamboat. But this one, ladies and gentlemen, is a 60-minute time limit draw. It's a Broadway. A 60-minute time limit draw. Steamboat retains his title. Unbelievable match. 99 back-to-back pay-per-view main events. Ricky Steamboat is that guy. This match also saw Rick Rude accidentally hit Stunning Steve. He was going for Steamboat. He ended up hitting Stunning Steve. Steamboat got a near fall out of it. But these two guys finished the 60 minutes. The creative finish idea here was they actually finished the 60 minutes not on the ground, still fighting. They collapse in exhaustion as the bell rings. A 5-star classic, a draw, a Broadway. 27-year-old Stunning Steve has proven himself that he can hang with the best in the world, even when his own stablemate has bopped him in the face. After the match, we have Paulie and Rick Rude help Steve Austin to the back. They're caring. They're showing genuine concern for Steve Austin in his state of exhaustion to help him to the back. And Sting and Ron Simmons come out. They got the ice packs. This is all Japan. This is New Japan. After major long main events, the ice packs are out. They're helping their friends to the back as the show goes off the air. Overall rating, 100. See that, folks? See that? See that, Shane? See that, Dunph? The Booker Man, baby. The motherfucking Booker Man. I was going to do a double episode. I don't think I will. This is already over an hour from what I can tell. I might just do one anyway. Who knows? I probably will. I'm going to do a 2-hour epic because we got the International Cruiserweight Grand Prix coming up. The teams are set, except USA are missing. USA and Canada are missing one person. It's not the Hearts. In case you think I'm getting on Heart, I'm not. It's probably going to be Chris Jericho. Holy shit. Let's just do this after show stuff. Address the locker room. Well, Steve Austin, you had your first 5-star match at the age of 27. Ricky Steamboat, you've done it in back-to-back months, proving you are the best wrestler in the world. See them half-year awards that went to Ric Flair earlier on? You remember that? Ric Flair got the halfway award? Well, Steamboat took that personally. Who else had huge performances? Could go Sting and Rick Rude, but I think I'm going to go with El Dandy and Jushin Thunder Liger. El Dandy, 4 title changes. This is a newsworthy show. You're getting a hug, Liger. Do you know that? You're getting a hug. Yeah, Rick Rude got one last month. Yeah, there's me speech. Everyone's happy. Well, why wouldn't we be happy? This is a company, we made 3.7 million. Actually, we made 4.2 million. The money here is just ridiculous. Like, it's no concern. It's kind of annoying a little bit. I'd like a bit of concern. Like, I'd like, have to actually think about money. I don't have to think. I could offer anyone anything. I just signed Steve Austin to a new 3-year deal because I could just offer him anything I wanted because I have so much money. Yeah, we're up popularity across the board. We're in a war with WWF. Fuck those guys. Fuck Vince McMahon. Media scrum. Let's do it. Nikita Koloff is gone. It's a blow, but also an opportunity for her to step up. I'm sure it was a one-off. You hired Lance Storm. We're going to play that by ear, Chief. We lost the war in the market last month. I don't know really how the wars work yet, but we're continuing to find the best show, see what happens. We're going to play that by ear. Steve Williams had an off night. That was a one-off. That guy's a beast. Yeah, we'll be back for Power Hour and World Championship Wrestling. Yeah, we're back for WCW Power Hour. We're going to be showing Power Hour for the next few weeks because it is kind of going to be where the bulk of the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix takes place. A few pre-show matches. Lance Storm beating Pat Rose. Come on, Lance. I want to start doing a little bit more with Tracy Smothers. He's awesome. So, let's see what he can do. 50 there, gets a win on the pre-show again. And Buddy Landell. Buddy is like a lower mid-card babyface for me. He's going to be losing to a lot of bigger stars. So, need to kind of get him some wins for momentum's sake on pre-shows and so on. So, I'll just have him beating Rip Rogers. Great performance of him. First match of the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix in Block C. We start with a banger. Ultimo Dragon beats Jerry Estrada in 10 minutes with a Dragon Sleeper. A little backstage promo with Tully and Arn after their match at the pay-per-view. And then the second match of the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix. Sean Waltman beats Negro Casas in another good match with a super kick. Paul E cuts a very good promo. Paul E is basically saying that later tonight he is going to be hoping to speak with a stunning Steve Austin on the A show. Then we get Jerry Lynn versus the Great Saska. Yes. Right, so neither of these are hot enough to be featured on TV. So I have a little workaround for that. That might work. We'll see. Jerry Lynn wins, by the way. At least I think he did, anyhow. Diamond Dallas Page, promo, whatever. And then Eddie Guerrero slowed some up by injury, still puts in an excellent performance, beating Chris Jericho in 8 minutes by pinfall with the Brainbuster. That would bring to an end that show. Overall, excellent show. 77 for the B show is very, very good. 4 important matches that are in the Grand Prix. Now, this is how I'm going to... let me see. How much do we have? 184 creative energy. This is my booking team at the moment. I have room to add 2 more. I'm just going to see... I'll have a look because we could be generating a little bit more creative energy that we can use. I'll see who might fit in with these guys after the A show tonight. So we're going to use some character ideas. We're not going to keep that one as a gamble. Definitely not keeping a big gamble. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's it. We got one idea out of all of that. Bit of tension between me and Dusty. Okay. What's happening backstage? Oh, good man, lads. I'm not going to address the locker room just for a TV show. I need to think about this. Okay, I have the show organised. I just wasn't sure what I was putting in the main event. But it's figured out. Booking analysis. El Dandy's been slightly overused. Okay. Let's get into the pre-show. Big Sexy Kevin Nash, after his reappearance, beats Junkyard Dog pre-show match. Paul Levesque picks up a win against Gorgeous George III. Look at this guy. Look at this. I saw him there. I just had to do this match. So a win for jobber Paul Levesque. He's not signed. He's only in for the night. As are Gemini Kid and Joe Cruz. Just getting a bit of heat again under the Freebirds. Just a win for Regal. Look at Regal's performances, my God. On the pre-show. Into the main show, Dean Malenko picks up the win over Funaki. Excellent match. Best match of the Grand Prix so far. Didn't have much crowd heat. That's okay. It did get the crowd hotter, so that's good. Big angle here. So we have Cactus Jack and Terry Funk in the first part. They're cutting a promo. Terry Funk mentions the Steiners coming out last night, stealing their moment. And what happens then is the Steiners come out again and they start beating the shit out of Cactus Jack and Terry Funk. They start beating the shit out of Cactus Jack and Terry Funk, the Steiners. And David Crockett, Dusty, Magnum Tia, everyone's in to try and break this up. And the Steiners start hitting Dusty and Magnum and Crockett. This is fucking carnage. Carnage. The Steiners have lost their minds. They've attacked the tag team champions, Cactus Jack and Terry Funk. They've attacked WCW officials. I'm going to have a think about something here in the back. Me, Booker, Bill Watts. Something has to be done about this. So Eric Bischoff is outside my locker room after the ad break. Bischoff comes to me. The Steiners are suspended. I have suspended the Steiners. You can't put your hands on WCW officials, Scott and Rick. That's just something you cannot do. And I'm making a match on the fly. It's Lex Luger and Jake Roberts versus Tully and Aaron tonight. Tag team number 1 contendership match because the Steiners are suspended. They can go home with pay. I'll pay them, but they're suspended indefinitely. Shawn Michaels defends his WCW World Television title, first defense, after beating Scott Hall at the pay-per-view. Great performance from Shawn, beats Ricky Martin. Okay performance from Ricky. Anderson and Blanchard versus Luger and Jake. Lex Luger pins Tully Blanchard with the attitude adjustment driver. Decent match. And now we have segment rating of 100. These guys. These fucking guys. 6 minute, basically a promo. I don't know why it says interview there. It's a talky segment, so you label it interview, so it calls it interview, even though they're having, I wouldn't say a promo battle. But Paulie dangerously tells Steve that he did himself proud at the pay-per-view. Steve says he went 1 hour with the best professional wrestler in the world, Ricky Steamboat, and that Steve Austin knows now he's on that level, and if Paulie dangerously wants to keep him in the Dangerous Alliance, he's going to have to treat him as such. No more playing second fiddle in the Dangerous Alliance for stunning Steve Austin. Paulie dangerously says next week, live, pre-taped, on television, the Dangerous Alliance will have a corporate team meeting in the ring. All members of the Dangerous Alliance are to attend. It's a mandatory team meeting in the ring. So who will we have there? We'll have Paulie Dangerously, obviously. We'll have Steve Austin. We'll have Larry Zbyszko will be there. Beautiful Bobby Eaton will be there. Tully and Aaron will be there, who are on a bit of a fucking losing streak, might I add. Rick Rude will be there. It's a mandatory team meeting taking place on TV next week. We go into what might be considered a number 1 contender match. Steve Williams defeats Ron Simmons. Ron just gets to the big game and always loses with a doctor bomb in 15 minutes. Segment of an excellent match, 85. Williams with a 90. Simmons with a 70. Every time Simmons gets up there with a couple of big performances in the high 70s, he just gets, you give him a shot, he just gets dragged back down to below par for like a guy I'd like to push in my main event scene. 70 ain't gonna cut it. We see what Steamboat's doing. Ricky Steamboat was interviewed about the match he just witnessed. He said if it is Steve Williams next up for the World Heavyweight title, then Steamboat will be ready. Now we're going into the main event rematch from the weekend. El Dandy versus Jushin Thunder Liger. They've been drawn in the same group of the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix. Liger gets his win back in 19 minutes and 9 seconds by pinfall with a brain buster. excellent match. Not quite as good as their tournament match. But yeah, Liger gets the win. And just in time as well, because all these matches have a 20-minute time limit. Two very good performances, and that should really get Liger a future shot at El Dandy, considering he has pinned the new champion. So overall, 88 quality show, financial report, heap of money, bit of popularity. And I'm going to do just one more thing. So I showed the part there where I got brainstormed with my inner circle, my booking committee, and we got some creative ideas. I'm now going to deploy said creative idea to somebody in the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix. Probably Jerry Lynn, maybe Saska. We need to get creative ideas can help a wrestler's momentum, and we need to get some of these guys hot. So if we have a look, let's just do a bit of a filter here. Got that to 225. That should give us everyone in the Grand Prix. So Funaki obviously has neutral momentum. Negro Casas warm. I think it needs to be very warm so you don't get that. Okay. Sasuke has warm. What about Jerry Lynn? Warm. Guerrero, he's okay. Even though he's unimportant, we can still put matches on his own because he's at least very warm. El Dandy is white hot. Of course you are, El Dandy. Jericho's neutral. What we really want is to get someone from warm to very warm. So that would be... where's Jerry Estrada? He's warm as well. So it'll either be Jerry Estrada, Jerry Lynn, Negro Casas, or the Great Saska. What about Ultimo? Very warm. He's safe from getting penalties. Let's have a look at the groups. Tournaments. Yeah, so it's going to have to be one of either Jerry Lynn or Saska, because there's 3 guys in this group who all their matches are going to get penalties. Guerrero's fine. I have 3 here that are very warm or above. I'm pretty sure Sean Waltman's above that. So all matchups will be covered with... And also El Dandy and Liger are both considered... they're above unimportant. I have 2 here that are at least very warm. So, Saska or Jerry Lynn? Saska or Jerry Lynn? Jerry Lynn is probably going to be around more, so we've got the creative idea. We find the one there, character, safe bet, that should work. Success. Now he's very warm. That should help. Okay, time for next week. Back for Power Hour and 4 more matches from the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix. Some good ones here. Liger versus Negro Casas, Eddie versus Saska, Jerry Lynn versus Jericho. We'll see if the little upgrade we give to Jerry Lynn will work here. And then Ultimate Dragon versus Funaki. Brought in Devin Hughes. Looks familiar. Just a local guy. Any good? 14? No, he is fuck all experience. Mark LaMonaco, he looks familiar too. He's a little bit better than his potential brother Devon. Trying to get a bit of heat under the Z-Man here. He's cooled and he's actually not too bad. Brought in Chris Canyon, young guy, very, very young here. They don't click, but anyway, it's hard to tell what Chris Canyon's performance would have been. And brought in Stevie Richards, see if he's improving. Yeah, he is a little bit. Another win for Tommy Rich. Into the Grand Prix, and we have Ultimo Dragon with an unbelievable performance. Funaki, very good. Like, you think there, Funaki is completely unknown, and he's coming in with a 63. That's like a sick baseline. Ultimo, serious performance. Ultimate Dragon beats Funaki with the Dragon Sleeper. We get Harley Race bigging up what he calls the next tag team champions, Jake Roberts and Lex Luger, saying they will be in action later tonight on the A show. Jerry Lynn beats Chris Jericho with a cradle pile driver. Yep. The little creative idea we gave Jerry Lynn worked. This would have gotten a penalty had it not been for that creative idea we deployed to Jerry Lynn. And then we get a Steve Austin. Our commentary team's kind of shit for Power Hour, to be perfectly honest. Just talking about the that he will be attending the mandatory corporate team meeting led by Paulie later tonight on the A Show. We're just using a lot of these segments on Power Hour to kind of big up things that are happening on the A Show. That's what I've been doing for months and months and months. Into the main event, Liger versus Sasuke. Good stuff. Oh no, sorry, this isn't the main event. It's Eddie versus Sasuke. There is a main event after this, I think, isn't there? Eddie beats Sasuke with the gory special. Excellent match. El Dandy's cutting a promo. I kind of just wanted to see what his promo skills are like. Perfectly fine. Grand, like, nothing spectacular, but not bad at all. He cuts this on Sean Waltman, who he's facing. He's going in 0-1, El Dandy, and Waltman's coming in 1-0. So this is a must-win for El Dandy. And then Liger beats Negro Casas in a very, very good match. Negro Casas, again, with a 67. Like, that's an exceptional rating for someone with his level of popularity in the region. We're in the Nassau Coliseum. We're up in the tri-state area tonight. Very good, very good. We made some changes to the booking team. There's 2 wins for Liger, 2 wins for Eddie, 2 wins for Jerry Lynn, and 2 wins for Ultimo Dragon in the tournament thus far. So we've made changes. We've added Gary Hart and we've added Eddie Gilbert to our booking team. I remember reading a long time ago about Gary Hart being kind of instrumental in the booking. He wasn't the head booker for World Class Championship Wrestling down in Dallas, the Von Erich territory. He was instrumental in a lot of the booking there. Him and another guy, Mantell, not Dutch Mantell, a different Mantell, were kind of the ones who basically booked the territory from, if I remember correctly. So let's see, we got 249. Yeah, like we that's increased our what would you call it? Creative energy significantly from what we were doing with just this booking team. Maybe more voices isn't always a good thing, but we're going to get some more character ideas to try and get some heat into guys, a bit of momentum. Some good shit coming in there. What do we have left? 129. I want to get an angle idea as well. Take the angle idea now, because just in case that happens. Fuck. I need an angle idea. Safe bet. That'll do it. That will do it. So, got some good shit all around there. Oh, Douglas and Ultimo Dragon got into a huge row over something. Had to be physically separated. Okay. Time. Oh, I didn't mean to open that. Time to put this show together. Yeah, we're back. Show's all laid out. The main event tonight is the Dangerous Alliance corporate team meeting taking place in the ring. 2 tournament matches on the show. Dandy versus Sean Waltman. Malenko versus Jerry Estrada. So let's get into it, shall we? Terry Gordy pre-match, just a little squash match for him against Chris Canyon. Buddy Landell beats Bob Cook. How did Buddy do? Way worse this week. What's going on? He was 60-something last week. Weird. Another one, just, again, he's down. Maybe they're not that popular in the New York area. Wonder is that it? I must check that. The Dudley Boys, before the Dudley Boys losing to the Rock and Roll Express. Yeah, Devon's crap. Into the main card, Dean Malenko beats Jerry Estrada in just under 10 minutes by pinfall. Tournament win for him. Lord Stephen Regal makes DDP submit. Great performance from Regal. Regal then gets on the mic and calls out Sting. He says some surfer dude is going around besmirching the US title. The US title rightfully belongs to the Queen of England. And what even is a surfer, he says? Those surfers are degenerates and vagrants. And he is going to take the US title from Sting and bring it back and present it to his queen. Cactus Jack and Terry Funk pick up a non-title match victory over Style and Substance, Eddie Gilbert and Tommy Rich. Gilbert's putting in really good performances for a guy whose back is crocked. Terry Funk submits Tommy Rich with a spinning toe hold. And then we get a backstage segment featuring Shawn Michaels and big, sexy Kevin Nash. Shawn Michaels says he ain't done with Scott Hall. Lex Luger and Jake Roberts squash match here, 4 minutes over. Lex Luger's gimmick's getting stale. Okay, let's tweak that. Not good performances from Jake and Luger. Like, I brought in Jake with the intention of pushing him very strong towards the top of the card, and he's just not hitting those heights. Like, if guys don't perform, you're not going to put them in them positions. El Dandy beats Sean Waltman by submission in 14 minutes with the Dandina. Very good match. Not quite the best match tournament, but up there. Not a great performance from Sean Waltman. No, I'm a little bit disappointed with that. Sting, backstage on the mic. He says, what is Stephen Regal talking about? Weirdo. He'll see him at the WCW pay-per-view, the International Supercard. And then we get Steve Williams by beating Big Scott Hall in 13 minutes. Steve Williams looks kind of confused because he gets help from Kevin Nash. Unsolicited help from Kevin Nash, who interferes and distracts Big Scott Hall. Unfortunate loss for Scott Hall, but Steve Williams has probably firmly put himself as the number one contender for the world title. Another 91 beast. And Ricky Steamboat comes out and stares down with Steve Williams. Looks like our main event for the pay-per-view is set. Ricky Steamboat versus Steve Williams. We're into the main event, the corporate team meeting. An 83 overall. I'm a bit disappointed with that. So in the first part, we have a good 6-minute interview where we see Arn Anderson, Paulie, Rick Rude, Steve Austin laying it all out, how they're feeling. And basically, Rick Rude tells Austin, wait your turn, young guy. You ain't ready yet. You proved it in the tournament. You could only make it to the semi-finals. You're not ready. And Steve Austin retorts, well, Rick, Steamboat beat you in 30 minutes. Steamboat couldn't beat me. The best wrestler in the world. I went toe-to-toe for 60 minutes and was still standing as the bell rang. You went out on your back to Steamboat. 1, 2, 3. You had the chance to win the world title. You failed. You've lost your US title to Sting. Paulie dangerously. Arn Anderson kind of cuts in, starts telling everyone, calm it. Paulie dangerously says that they're stronger together as a unit. And while all this is happening, boom, Rick Rude attacks Steve Austin. He hits the Rude Awakening on a steel chair. Nobody knows what to do. Arn, Tully, Bobby, Larry left stunned as we go off the air. Rude goes to follow up on his attack of Austin, but the rest of the guys break it up. They take Rude away. Paulie dangerously leaves with Rude. Steve Austin is left lying in the middle of the ring. It looks like Austin has been ejected from the Dangerous Alliance, and maybe he's picked up an injury here because he just took a Rude Awakening onto a steel chair. But it's one thing we know about Steve Austin. He's a tough son bitch. Very good show. Excellent, actually. Yeah, it's a bit of a monster. Financial report, good money, popularity, growing, all the good stuff. Now I'm going to get next week's show ready, deploy some of those creative ideas. I think I'll deploy one to, there's someone I was looking at who's a bit cold. It was a Tommy Rich, maybe. I think it's affecting his in-ring performance, so he'll get a creative idea. And then I'll use 2 on maybe like Saska and Negro Cassis or something like that. Guys who are in the tournament. So that is the plan with those creative ideas. It's time for Power Hour. Power Hour. Jeez, I'm a good singer. This is how the groups are shaking up. Jerry Lynn and Eddie Guerrero will be facing off to top Group A, Saska and Jericho in a dead rubber. And then we got We have the potential of a three-way tie atop the division. So on Power Hour, El Dandy will be taking on Negro Casas. And if Sean Waltman can beat Liger on WCW television, then we'll have a three-way tie at the top. What I've decided, if that is to be the case, there'll be a triple threat next week. The winner then going into the final at the pay-per-view. That's if Waltman can beat Liger. And then we have Malenko facing Ultimo Dragon to top the group, and Jerry Estrada versus Funaki in a dead rubber on Power Hour. So let's just jump straight into Power Hour. Won't give away any results. El Dandy is in the main event because he's the fucking man. Promo Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels. And then we're going to go in a non-tournament match. Shane Douglas against who did I say? Lance Storm. Interview with Tully and Aaron on the events of last week. We're going to go. We want Jerry Estrada and Funaki opening the show. I meant to add another angle to this, and I didn't. And the angle I meant to add was Larry Zbyszko and beautiful Bobby Eaton being interviewed about the events of last week, and that's going to be by Eric the Bischoff. That's going to be backstage, 4 minutes, plenty of time for that. Stick it in there. We're going to give it a bit of character development. We want them to develop their characters here. We can auto-name that. And then we select our opener. There we go. That gives us exactly 60 minutes. You'd think I planned it that way. And I've actually brought in we're doing something interesting tonight, folks. No, we're not doing something interesting because the person isn't available. Huh. Why isn't that person available? Did I give them the night off by accident? I didn't give anyone the night off except Abdullah the Butcher. Anyway, I teased something that isn't happening. Let's just get some jobbers a bit of work here. Give less. Buddy at Landell is on later tonight. He's been performing very well. Let's give him a win. Exclude already booked. He can beat Pat Rose. Come on, Pat. You go in there, Pat, and you take that L. We'll give some more jobbers a bit of a workout. Actually, I want to give Diamond Dallas Page a win. He has very hot momentum, which is good, but I feel like we've been beating him a lot recently. And he can beat my son, Eric Watts. Oh, I nearly put Eric Watts over. Imagine Shane's comments had I done that. Anyone we want to bring in for a little tryout? Who's Steve Bradley? 16 years of age. I don't need that shit. Mustafa Saeed. In you come. You can put over one of our baby faces on the pre-show. Mustafa Saeed. Mustafa, where are you? There you are. Face. Who do we want? Johnny B. Bad. It's been a while since he got a win. Johnny B. Bad. I think he's probably a bit underrated, Mark Miro. Let's get into the show. Surprise, surprise. Johnny B. Bad beats Mustafa Saeed. DDP beats Eric Watts. Buddy Landell, 60 performance. Good man, Buddy. And then, fuck. They got the... these aren't hot enough to be on TV 1v1. So, crowd heat at the end of this is disinterested. And it's going to continue like that. Once you get disinterested, it's very hard to get them back. Jericho... Or I had Sasuke go over Jericho, actually, because he's been performing better throughout the tournament. I told you what all these are about. Douglas really should be performing better. He's been on TV on and off for most of the year. He's had loads of matches. And this is what he serves up. Shawn Michaels struggled when going off script. That shocks me. El Dandy sustained a bruised elbow. That's a small injury. El Dandy beats Negro Casas by pinfall with the Dandy roll in an excellent match. Kind of got the crowd back. It's unclear. It took El Dandy a fucking course. It took El Dandy to get the crowd back. Now, I'm going to go book what I have the other show booked. I'm going to put it together. Okay, we've got 3 tournament matches, International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix. The deciding ones, we've got Waltman and Liger, which could lead to a triple threat next week. Guerrero versus Jerry Lynn to top the group, and Malenko versus Ultimo Dragon to top the group. We've also got a segment called the Royal Tea Party, where Lord Stephen Regal has invited Sting to a Royal Tea Party to show him what class and dignity are all about. We have a promo with Dangerously and Rude addressing Rude's actions last week. We've got a big main event, Miracle Violence Connection versus Ricky Steamboat and Sting. Shawn Michaels defends against Buddy Landell. Cactus Jack and Terry Funk are defending against the Freebirds because they're fighting champions. Okay. Pre-show match, just give Lance Storm his win back after he performed quite admirably on Power Hour. And Big Sexy Kevin Nash just throws Marcus Alexander Bagwell all over the place. And the opener, Dean Malenko beats Ultimo Dragon in an excellent match. Malenko progresses to the final. He has won Block C. Great performance from Malenko. And Eddie Guerrero beats Jerry Lynn in another fantastic match. And that means Eddie Guerrero has topped Group A. He also progresses to the final at the pay-per-view in 10 days' time. We have 2 of the finalists locked in. That is Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko, and 1 more to be decided. We get Lord Stephen Regal and the Royal Tea Party with Sting. This ends up with a bit of back and forth between them, but ultimately Sting pours some tea all over Regal's head in quite a good segment. Sting looked good out there. And the commentary was good, but it ends with Sting pouring tea over Regal's head. Regal is disgusted with the display of, what would you call it? Just a pure lack of dignity, lack of class from Sting. Regal is disgusted. Cactus Jack and Terry Funk make defense number 1, I believe, of WCW Tag Team titles. Fairly good match. As you can see, the Freebirds are unfortunately declining quite quickly physically. Oh, but they're attacked by Jake Roberts and Lex Luger, who they will be facing at the pay-per-view, defending the tag team titles in the absence of probably the real number 1 contenders, the Steiners, who are under suspension for putting their hands on WCW officials. Shawn Michaels beats Buddy Landell with a sweet chin music. Shawn Michaels makes defense number 2 of the WCW World Television title. He didn't need Kevin Nash's interference here to beat Buddy Landell. But yeah, Buddy's putting in decent performances. Good out of Shawn as he increases popularity and momentum that will continue to increase. And then Scott Hall appears at the top of the ramp, and Big Scott cuts a promo. He challenges Kevin Nash to a match next week with the stipulation that if Scott Hall can beat Kevin Nash, he gets Shawn Michaels at the pay-per-view in a steel cage. Waltman versus Liger, and Liger defeats Waltman with the shooting star press in a very good match. That is Waltman out. That is Liger topping the group. That is also the champion, El Dandy, is out. He hasn't made the final. The Cruiserweight, or Junior Heavyweight, like whatever the fuck they're calling it, champion El Dandy has not made the final of the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix. Liger is the winner. The match is set for the pay-per-view for the trophy. Liger versus Guerrero versus Malenko. A representative of each of the philosophies. Lucha versus North American Hybrid versus Japanese. Paulie Dangerously and Rick Rude are cutting a promo bemoaning the current losing streak of the Dangerous Alliance, when they said they busted Stone Cold last week, but won't be seeing him for a while. Not Stone Cold, Steve Austin. But that doesn't work for Steve Austin, brother. Steve Austin emerges out of the audience, attacks Rude, and him and Rude brawl all around ringside before being separated once again by beautiful Bobby Arn Anderson, Larry Zbyszko, and Tully Blanchard. Austin is screaming at Rude. Austin wants Rude at the pay-per-view. 1v1. Paul Dangerously accepts, and he also says that one thing that Steve Austin's going to have to do. He's going to have to face his friend and mentor, Larry Zbyszko, in singles action next week on WCW television. Into the main event, fantastic match. Steve Williams seemed off his game and had 96. I think we could have another 96! We could have another 5-star classic on our hand here with Steamboat and Williams at the pay-per-view. Superb wrestling, good heat. Who defeated Steamboat? And Williams pinned Sting with a Dr. Bomb after a distraction from Lord Steven Regal. Sting struggled to keep up with everyone else's performances. Sting feels like very underwhelming in this game. He was so awesome in 92. Look back at the Cactus Jack stuff, like. But anyway, I digress. That's IRL. We're not in IRL. So Lord Steven Regal has gotten a modicum of revenge after the Royal Tea Party earlier in the night. Overall, very good show. Progresses our popularity, multiple regions. El Dandy's injured 7 days, no problem. He's a tough son bitch. Just like Steve Austin arriving back 1 week after being dropped with a rude awakening on a steel chair. Merchandise 60k. I think that's increased. I must check the merchandise. Popularity recap. Yeah, all good stuff. And I'm making another big announcement at the pay-per-view. I wonder what that could be. It is time for the Go Home Show. For that pay-per-view that I gave a really long name. I'm just going to call it Supercard. Pre-show match, Curtis Hughes, who's actually out of contract. I'm not showing the B-show tonight because the tournament stages are over. But on the pre-show of the B-show, I had Curtis Hughes job out to Negro Casas, and he was not happy. So here, a clearly unhappy Curtis Hughes completely phoned in his performance. He's out of contract. He showed up tonight, asked could he wrestle. I said, yeah, no problem. Just put over Negro Casas. And now he's pissed off. So you're not getting a contract. In the opener, we have Anderson and Tully beating the Thrill Seekers. Very, very good match. Thrill Seekers have improved massively, but I have been using them in both tag matches, and obviously Jericho was in the tournament, got lots of matches and exposure there. Sure, that helped his popularity. Been using Lance Storm in there with some more recognizable names on TV, but also... I did like one on my phone. But also giving him wins on multiple pre-show matches. Good win for Aaron and Tully. Tully just really hasn't broke that 67 barrier there for him. Just before Big Sexy and Shawn Michaels are about to head out for the Big Sexy Kevin Nash versus Big Scott Hall match, they're informed by Eric Bischoff that the powers that be, aka me, had said Shawn Michaels is banned from ringside. If Shawn Michaels enters the ringside area at any time during this match, Scott Hall will be granted the victory, thus making it a cage match at the Supercard. But it doesn't matter, because Scott Hall wins in a bloody awful match. It's the fourth time this matchup has been done recently. It's the fourth time this year. The last one wasn't recent. I had Scott Hall, or I had Big Sexy off TV for 2 months. I don't know what the time frame is. Bloody awful, god awful match. El Dandy cuts an impassioned promo backstage stating that it's his belief that Eddie Guerrero is going to win the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix and that Lucha will reign supreme. Just came up with this banger match. 3v3v3. Told him to go out and steal the show. They had a very good match. And the winning team here is... Malenko pins the Great Sasuke. So Team USA and Canada win this match. Team Hybrid, espousing the style of hybrid junior heavyweight wrestling over the Japanese and Mexican styles. But Eddie Guerrero, Liger and Malenko will prove that once and for all at the Supercard for the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix Cup. And then just backstage, cameras cuts backstage because we hear something's happening, and these four lunatics are brawling all over the backstage area, hitting each other with whatever, throwing each other into trash cans, all that good stuff. We get Steve Austin beats Larry Zbyszko in a pretty fucking good match, actually. Pins him in 14 minutes with the stun gun. Poor Larry Zbyszko fed to the wolves He's been Austin's mentor and manager in the not absence of Paul E. Dangerously, but during Austin's break from Paul E. Dangerously. And as Austin's about to leave, Rick Rude comes in from the crowd and attacks Larry Zbyszko, but Austin returns to the ring, making the save, thus cementing his face turn. He's been basically face for the last few weeks, but that kind of cements it. Into the main event, 3v3, Ricky Steamboat, Ron Simmons and Sting versus Regal and the MVC. And Regal submits Sting with a Regal stretch after blatantly cheating. The referee has missed the cheating. Regal submits Sting. Did he eye poke him? Whatever, he cheated and he put the Regal stretch on him and he got the submission. Ron Simmons was poor enough. He's a guy who's just up and down with his performances. Sting was okay, but I think Steamboat Williams are going to have a banger. I'm going to give Gordy and Ron Simmons a match at the pay-per-view supercard coming out of this as well. And that ends the show. Very simple show tonight is to go home. We built up all the matches, the big sexy, or the Scott Hall versus Michaels Cage match. That's official now. It's Scott Hall's win. We have the final of the Grand Prix. We have the tag title matches. Austin versus Rude, Regal versus Sting, Simmons versus Gordy, and Steamboat versus Williams for the World Heavyweight Championship. That will be the pay-per-view. We also have a major announcement coming at the pay-per-view. Here we are at the WCW International Super Show Collision. What a name. I added Collision because the only poster I could find for the show had Collision Course written all over it. I tried to add Collision Course, but there wasn't enough letters and I wanted to get International Super Show in there. Big show here tonight. Big show. Major announcements. Wow angles. Trophy presentations. A debut. And a pre-show battle royal. The winner of the pre-show battle royal. I've left this up to the road agents. I don't know who's winning this. The winner is going to get a shot on TV at the winner of the Regal Sting WCW title match. So let's see who wins the Battle Royal. Who won it? Tully Blanchard won the Battle Royal. And Tully, you can get a shot at the winner of Regal or Sting. We have 22,000 almost. That's a sellout. See, up there in the poster says Collision Course. So I just added Collision to the name so it would match the poster. I was going to get AI to make me a fucking poster. Tully Blanchard wins the pre-show Battle Royale and he will get a shot at the US title. We have a sellout here in Knoxville, Tennessee. A debut. The Can-Am Express debut with very good ratings for debutants. Phil LaFon has gone under his name Phil LaFon and not Dan Croffett. But the Can-Am Express are here. If you've never seen the Can-Am Express versus Kikuchi and Kobashi on YouTube, it's free on YouTube. Match from 1990 or 91. One of the greatest tag team matches of all time. I wanted to sign these guys. Their contracts came up. They don't have much popularity in the US. So we're going to have to build them up a little bit. But these guys are a fantastic tag team. Don't stop here and go and watch that tag match. But when you're finished this, highly recommend Kikuchi and Kobashi versus the Can-Am Express. Into the main show, the opener. Terry Gordy defeats Ron Simmons with a powerbomb in 82. Gordy 75. It's a bit disappointing. Next up, I think we have the Regal... we have our major announcement. Major announcement time. Eric Bischoff is out here to make a major announcement. That major announcement is WCW, following the success of the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix, will be running a 12-person, 2 blocks of 6, over 12 weeks, International Women's Grand Prix, featuring the greatest women's talent from all over the world. We've got Canadians, we've got Americans, we've got a whole host of Japanese superstars, we've got Mexicans, I think. We definitely have a Puerto Rican. The International Women's Grand Prix will be taking place over the course of 12 weeks between Power Hour and WCW television. And the final will take place, if I timed it right, I think at Clash of Champions in November. What are we? August, September, October, November. I think Clash of Champions in November. If not, I could hold off a little bit and do it at Starrcade. Have a major women's match at Starrcade, because I think over 12 weeks of a tournament, 2 groups of 6, only the winner of each block qualifies for the final of the International Women's Grand Prix. Maybe we'll introduce a title for the women at Starrcade, and we'll just do the Grand Prix first. The winner of the Grand Prix will obviously be in the title match, but I think we'll have built up enough of those 12 women that we've signed. We haven't signed them to exclusive contracts. They're all on handshake deals, but I've negotiated in that we are their number one priority for the course of the tournament. Looking forward to this. I've signed some amazing names that we'll go through after the pay-per-view. I told you it was a major announcement. Tony Khan makes a major announcement. Bill Watts has Eric Bischoff make a major announcement, because Bill Watts doesn't really like being on TV. Next up, I think we have the cage match with Scott Hall and Sean. No, we don't. We have Sting defeats Lord Steven Regal by submission. Gets his submission win back. The Scorpion Deadlock, defense number 1 of the US title. Regal outperformed Sting. What? I need to look at Sting's stats. Something's not adding up here with Sting's performances. Now we have Shawn Michaels defeat Scott Hall in a cage classic match in 15 minutes and 88. Like, if you look at what Scott Hall was doing there, he had a 49 on TV with big sexy Kevin Nash the other day. But Shawn Michaels beats him clean as a whistle in the cage. You know me, you've heard me on the podcast talking about cage matches and interferences. There's no interferences in my cage match. That's what the cage is there for. So, an excellent cage match. We have Luger and Roberts versus Luger sustained a strained wrist grant versus Funk and Foley. Terry Funk pins Jake Roberts with a pile driver after there'd been a bad miscommunication with Lex Luger. That's been Roberts and Luger, obviously. Quite a good match, not amazing or anything. Let's have a look at the performance. Cactus Jack, obviously excellent as usual. Terry Funk, very good. Is Jake improving? I think it might be improving a small bit. Lex is stuck around this low 70s area as well. Yeah, good match though. Good match. Creative's finish was a success. That's the miscommunication spot between Luger and Jake Roberts. Thanks, Steve. I had Steve Williams edging the match because he's one of the greatest tag wrestlers of all time. Holy shit, Paulie Dangerously, Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner have attacked Cactus Jack and Terry Funk. What does this mean? The Steiners have come out with Paulie Dangerously and attacked Cactus Jack and Terry Funk. I thought these guys were suspended. What's Paulie Dangerously doing here? Holy shit. And in the final of the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix is won by Eddie Guerrero, who first, Dean Malenko gets eliminated first, and then Liger. Eddie Guerrero has won the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix for the Lucha team of Mexico. Unbelievable match. Just under 15 minutes. These guys tore the house down in a triple threat elimination match. And we'll go to the trophy presentation. Holy shit! El Dandy and Jerry Estrada attack Eddie Guerrero with the trophy. Dandy breaks the trophy off Guerrero's head. Negro Casas is out there to celebrate with his team. He doesn't know what to do initially, but he protects Guerrero. He runs off Dandy and Estrada. Eddie Guerrero has been attacked by his team captain El Dandy in a bout of what I can only call jealousy. The brand new trophy that we've commissioned for the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix has been smashed off Eddie Guerrero, the winner's head. We've Steve Austin and Rick Rude in a very good match. Shit, I forgot to take Larry Zbyszko off as Austin's manager. Still doesn't matter. Excellent match. 90 from Rick Rude and 87. But the key here is pinfall with a rude awakening following interference by the returning Dustin Rhodes. The fuck is Dustin doing? He's attacked Steve Austin. He's given Rick Rude the victory. And we get a new, reimagined Dangerous Alliance of Paulie Dangerously cutting a promo with Rick Rude, Dustin Rhodes, Rick Steiner, and Scott Steiner. He cuts promos on Cactus Jack and Terry Funk, saying that the Steiners are coming for their tag titles. He cuts a promo on Steamboat and Steve Williams, saying that Rick Rude is coming for the world title. He cuts a promo on Austin, saying that it was Austin who had Dustin Rhodes attacked, and Dustin is back for revenge. This looks like a new Dangerous Alliance of Rick Rude, Dustin Rhodes, Rick Steiner, and Scott Steiner. We're into our main event, Steamboat versus Williams. Excellent match, 94. Look, we couldn't keep the run of 99s going. Unsustainable. But a 94, we'd be over the moon with that. Previously, 2 great performances. Steamboat makes defense number 2 of the WCW World Heavyweight title with a pinfall to diving crossbody in 17 minutes 13 seconds over Steve Williams, and it looks like Rick Rude wants a shot at the title. Overall, excellent pay-per-view in 92. Let's finish this out. Who are we? Well, Steve Williams and Ricky Steamboat had an incredible match. Who else will we praise? Let's praise Eddie Guerrero. He's won a big tournament. And who else? Shawn Michaels actually had a really good performance. Let's give Shawn Michaels some praise because he's a little prick backstage, constantly fighting with people. Just trying to make him happy. Lex Luger, 6 days. That's okay. Bet a load of money again, over 4 million. Merchandise massive there on these shows. Popularity recap massive, increased literally everywhere. We're probably catching WWE media scrum. Whatever. It was a one-off. We're going to play it by ear. Again, we're going to play it by ear. He's a big part of the family. Of course we'll be offering him a new deal. Okay, I want to go through the selection of excellent female talent that we've brought in for the International Women's Grand Prix, which will be taking place over the course of 3 months across multiple shows. We've brought in a collection of talent that I am extremely excited about. We don't need to start this straight away. We're not under time constraints to get it done, kind of like we were with the Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix. But yeah, I haven't drawn the groups yet. That's something that'll be revealed next week. Look at this processing, because I have so much shit loaded into this game. The processing takes quite a while. I probably didn't need to load in quite as much of the database. I went full on heavy database on this. I wanted options. Okay, let's now look at the female talent that we've signed. Akira Hakuto. Alexandra York is not a wrestler. That's Terry, if you remember Terry. Terry Reynolds. She's not a wrestler, so she won't be performing. So we got Akira Hakuto, unbelievable wrestler. Bull Nakano, top class. Jacqueline, deadly. La Tigresa, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. My Spanish isn't very good. Puerto Rican. We're bringing back Leilani Kai. Woman should be a Hall of Famer. We've got Lioness Asuka, an absolute beast. She actually came to me and said, can she be the locker room enforcer? I had to tell her, no, you're only here part-time. Relax. Lisa Moretti. Does she look familiar? Her skills are excellent as well. Look at this. Great skill base. Luna Vachon is coming in. She hasn't been seen in mainstream wrestling probably in this stage in a year or two. We've had Medusa on our roster the whole time. She is coming in as well. We've got probably the ace of the division, Manami Toyota. We're going to have to build a lot of their popularity. I have already thrown out some creative ideas to try and get a bit of heat on them. This one, Rhonda Singh. I'm not sure who this is, but she's incredibly popular. Look at this. She's Canadian. If anyone knows who Rhonda Singh is and what she went on to do afterwards, am I just not recognize her? Is she someone that we should know? If I go to character details, I don't know any of those names. So yeah, if you know who this is, let me know, because she's got... And Rockin' Robin is coming in, you know? Rockin' Robin, again, a lot of popularity. Good skills. Ronda doesn't have great skills, but she has very good basics, very good psychology. She'll be kind of an anchor in there, great consistency. Manami Teo's skills are just awesome, as are, I looked at a few. Bull Nakano's are very, very good. Akira Hakuto's are insane. Lani Kai, not great, but good basics, good psychology. Jacqueline, again, good basics, good psychology. And technical and brawling are both pretty good. Luna, kind of solid across the board, 91 basics. Can't ask for more than that. So, yeah, we have an awesome 12 women international women's Grand Prix coming up, starting on the next show. Eddie Guerrero, you can see, I don't know why they don't. Oh, yeah, it's because this is a once off. He doesn't hold the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix. It probably has more current prestige than our World Heavyweight title. Yes, it does. Jesus Christ. They do this when you put in tournaments. If you compare prestige, like the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix is more prestigious than the WWF Heavyweight title, the IWGP Heavyweight title, and All Japan's Champion Carnival, and the NWA World Heavyweight title. Somehow or another, I don't think the International Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix is the most prestigious title or award in professional wrestling. But there you have it. The game says it is. I have my doubts of I had retired titles. These are just retired. Right, it doesn't. Oh, if I put in all titles. Yeah, it's the most prestigious title in the history of professional wrestling. El Dandy still light heavyweight champion. Ready-made challenger in Eddie Guerrero. Sting survived Lord Steven Regal. Has a ready-made contender there in who won the pre-show battle royal? Tully. Steamboat could be up against Rick Rude next. Could be up against Terry Gordy next. Terry Gordy had a very good win there against Ron Simmons. WCW World Tag Team titles still Cactus Jack and Terry Funk, but they are now being hunted by two-time champions, the Steiner brothers. On television title, Shawn Michaels came out of that cage, made his third defense. His title's been bouncing around a lot since Austin had it for almost a year and made 17 defenses. Let's see if Shawn Michaels can kind of consolidate a bit of time with the title. It's very possible next week we do a double episode again. That's very possible. Okay, this is what I've been waiting for. You may have noticed since Pillman lost the title, we've kept him off TV. Pillman came to me, said, I'm putting on weight, I'm going into the heavyweight division. I said, Brian, absolutely. You're a phenomenal talent. I've got big plans for you in the heavyweight division. You go away. I don't want you travelling around the country. I don't want you travelling to TV every week. We'll take the junior heavyweight title off you. We'll put it on Liger to get it to Dandy. And you take time off and bulk up. Brian Pillman has bulked up. He will be re-entering the heavyweight ranks after a phenomenal run. Let's just look at him. Skills. Basics 90 This guy is unbelievable. Good popularity. Not incredible, but good. Where did he start the year? 43. Yeah, he's up 11. That's why he wasn't in the Junior Heavyweight Grand Prix, because he was taking time off to bulk up to enter the heavyweight division, of which he will now be entering. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Total Extreme Morrow, a double episode. It's probably 2.5 hours long. I don't know. I had a whale of a time. Maybe we'll do another double episode next week. I don't know. But this week's been a double episode. I've been Total Extreme Morrow. You've been awesome. And this is where the best book wrestling. Good night and good luck.